Carti really waited 5 years just to give us AI recorded vocals, is the #1 complaint
Y'all think this shit AI?
right now among half of Playboi Carti's fanbase. However, if you ask the other half though, and according to Carti himself, there was no AI used during the making of his new album. So who is actually telling the truth? And more importantly, does it even matter? Well, as we begin to dive into the multiple examples being brought forward as proof, which all point back to this secret guy named Lawson, to help us get to the bottom of this AI mystery, I actually interviewed quite literally one of the biggest experts on this subject, who had this to say.
At this point, I'm like 100%. I put money on it that they're not real songs. If you make AI music or hear it and listen to it a lot, I guess you can point it out pretty well.
This is 507 Kaz, who, if you aren't aware, is also the voice and main creator behind the AI Playboi Carti rapper known as Twin. At one point recently outstreaming opium rapper Destroy Lonely thanks to Twin's viral hit Telescope, which, as it turns out, was created by using the exact same AI technique that Playboi Carti is said to be utilizing.
I just be joking the rest, cause Stage got bags ain't never gonna need them. I got my gang, we waiting outside, a bride don't care, we gon' eat them. Fuck out the hoes on dick, they be texting me like little bitch, I'ma feed them.
I just be joking the rest, cause Stage got bags ain't never gonna need them. I got my gang, we waiting outside, a bride don't care, we gon' eat them. Fuck out the hoes on dick, they be texting me like.
Wait a minute. Wait. So it's damn.
Bitch, I'ma feed them.
But I think people are still under the impression that like they throw it into like some website and then it just makes the song based off like make a party song. I think they still think that somehow.
What you just heard was a snippet of Twin's song Monstrous off his new album, showing us exactly how they transform raw vocals to sound like Carti. And yes, by applying an AI Playboi Carti voice filter over his recorded vocals, Twin has literally released multiple projects full of AI songs, so it's safe to say he definitely has experience. And again, when I asked him, Twin believes Carti is 100% using AI.
Part of me wants to think that he just kind of like he saw Telescope and all the other stuff and just kind of want to like dip his toes in the water and see how lazy you can get. I think the way that he pronounces things is like a dead giveaway. In Twin's music, you can hear it too. It's like, I guess the vocal model can't pronounce certain words like S's. It kind of like hisses really bad. And you hear that really heavy in those songs.
Those songs that Twin is referring to from I Am Music are the two specific tracks Rather Lie and Fine Shit. As, according to Kirko, one of the most reputable music accounts on Twitter, who by the way also reported the release date of music first before anyone else, Playboi Carti's music is now the latest mainstream hip-hop release to incorporate AI vocals, reads this tweet only hours after the album, with tracks like Rather Lie and Fine Shit. Ruined, typed back your age. Terrible, nothing can sugarcoat it. The deeper we go down this road, the darker it gets for real artistry. However, while the majority of Playboi Carti fans were disappointed by this tweet, even going as far as to label AI the worst thing to ever happen.
Hey, that's the best AI I ever heard, chat.
Music. Immediately after Kirko's post, though, I was told this isn't true, came this response from DJ Academics, respectfully. But yet, Kirko stood his ground, doubling down on the AI rumors while also making fun of Academics' credibility and previous claims. But Justin Bieber and X are on the album, and Kendrick Lamar creative directed it, right? Kirko jokes.
Okay. I couldn't figure out a better song by him to play, but heard a song with him, I'm like, what the
However, a tweet is not concrete proof that Playboi Carti used AI, correct? Well, along with fans split down the middle on which side to believe, they're also split on their reaction, with some starting to warm up to AI's impressive revolution.
But when he sang, it actually sounded good. Now, is it AI? I'm not sure. Do I care? Not really. Good music is good music.
No
and
bullshit.
It's still emulated after Playboi Carti's voice.
I can't hate on them because they are really good songs. I feel like a lot of people are getting.
Even if it is AI, it's AI of his voice, so it's still him.
That point too, they're like, at this point I don't really care anymore. It's pretty good.
Although, I think we'd all agree no one wants to listen to robots rapping. If it sounds as good as Rather Lie though, for example, it's a little easier to tolerate. But, while of course Carti and his team are gonna keep denying the use of AI, besides Playboi Carti simply being just too lazy to record, many suspect it's his record label, Universal Music, who is the one behind the scenes encouraging him to do this, trying to test the waters and see how much they can get away with using AI. Considering that the CEO of UMG was literally named to the most powerful people in artificial intelligence list last year, due to UMG's multiple partnerships with new AI companies in 2024. including this interesting one here with SoundLabs, which allows artists to, quote, create custom vocal models that will be available for their exclusive creative use cases, and not available to the general public. The evidence just continues to pile up. However, before we can answer if Playboi Carti actually used AI on his new album or not, unfortunately the rumors date back even further, to one of my favorite songs of last year. One look at the credits here for Timeless on The Weeknd's official website, and you will instantly notice something odd. Playboi Carti is not credited at all as a writer, nor is his government name, Jordan Carter, anywhere to be found. As the pair's second ever collaboration following Popular, Playboi Carti and The Weeknd's new single Timeless released back in September of 2024. However, to again much disappointment, it is now widely believed that, despite hearing what sounds like his voice, Playboi Carti himself might have never even touched this song.
I'm not gonna lie, this song right here might be AI. This did not really sound like Carti. Except for like the ad-libs. The ad-libs did, I ain't gonna lie.
That Timeless single from the latest Weeknd album. A lot of fans of Playboi Carti, even some of his real hardcores, are saying that that verse and his vocals are AI.
It's all made with Lawson. I know like 3 people who know Lawson. He's like 100% doing their vocals.
According to Twin, as well as half of Carti's fanbase, Timeless is actually AI. But is it really possible that Playboi Carti used AI on a Billboard #3 hit? And who even is this Lawson guy anyway? Timeless, The Weeknd and Playboi Carti by me and Guys. Shout out to OG Volta and the family, reads this post by Keith Lawson. Or, as we can see here, again in the official Timeless credits, not the ones on Genius because anyone can edit those, Devon Chisholm, which is Lawson's real name. Unlike Twin, who has no real connection to Carti and his team, Lawson is actually someone who's been confirmed to be affiliated. Aside from his credit on Timeless, Lawson also works very closely with OG Volta, who is one of Carti's go-to producers. And keep that name in mind too, because, to likely no coincidence, OG Volta has produced all 3 of the Playboi Carti tracks which are rumored to be AI. But Lawson, meanwhile, has other experience in the industry too, helping write for mainstream names, such as Bryson Tiller and Tizo Touchdown, as well as he even had this reference demo that leaked for Kanye West's Vultures 1.
Like, I'm trying to something right now. That little hoe, she getting smacked, she getting aight now. Hey.
Lawson is so unknown to the general public, but he's really a star in the industry right now, one fan comments. Now, it's important for us to note that ghostwriting and getting help with writing lyrics is quite common in the music industry with even the biggest names. However, it's also important to note that even if an artist doesn't actually write their lyrics, as long as they still record vocals themselves, they typically get credited too. But again, that's not the case here with Playboi Carti, which I guess would make sense if he didn't pick up a microphone. We do see though that The Weeknd, aka Abel Tesfaye, is indeed credited right here, only playing into our evidence at hand.
The Weeknd's verse is obviously AI and so is Carti's, but it seems like in the final version they just use the exact same verse for Carti and just kind of like up the mixing a little bit.
Since I was a chick, no, I was a shit. Oh, loud, just trying to get clicked.
Thanks to this reference track you just heard, that leaked 2 days prior to Timeless's release, it was obvious that, similar to Twin's technique, both Playboi Carti and The Weeknd had been using AI vocal filters of their own voice to put over reference tracks that were said to be recorded by Lawson. For more proof of Lawson's work with Playboi Carti and his team, we can also look to the Real Music leak last year. What was initially thought by fans to be a new Carti leak that surfaced onto the internet, but turned out to be AI. And according to Caskets, who is one of hip-hop's biggest leakers, the original file name was allegedly titled Lawson Carti 5, You're Blocked, showing us that again, Lawson had been the one working and recording these AI references for Carti. And not only was Real Music also produced by OG Volta, but then as we heard, Lawson actually played a snippet of this Real Music track on his Instagram, but with just his real voice, before any of the Carti AI effects had been added. This short snippet confirmed to us that the leak was indeed Lawson's voice, and it makes sense that Lawson would have an extremely similar sound and flow to Playboi Carti, an artist himself making his own music on the side. Although Lawson hasn't released any songs in a while, you can definitely hear the similarities very clear, fueling these theories even further.
Oh my god, if you listen to his music, it's like such a dead giveaway. It's like the same person recording the 2 songs. Lawson also has a bit of an accent, and he like does more singing than Carti. He's doing a little too much vocalizing for that to actually be him.
But although Lawson himself has never confirmed using AI on any songs, likely due to having signed NDAs, to me though, this honestly sounds like a great use of artificial intelligence in music. Like, if you are gonna use reference tracks, you might as well then throw an AI over them to sound more realistic like the artist therefore. However, the problem then comes though when you combine an AI that sounds almost identical with an artist who realizes they no longer have to do an inch of work, and it definitely becomes a slippery slope.
But what I guess happened is he probably heard Timeless, like Carti heard Timeless and was like, look, I don't even need to record on this. This is good enough.
Just by listening to how weird the AI demo sounded for The Weeknd, and then how much it had changed for the final release, it was obvious he had went back and re-recorded his vocals, thus landing him a credit on the song. Take a listen to the comparison between the Timeless AI leak versus the final release.
Ever since I was a chick, knew I was a shit. Shawty keep on to come round, she wanna get hit. She in the sky, had have a cat, fish out the church.
Honestly, it's pretty hard to deny. However, you may still be thinking, how do we even know that the leaked demo was real? Well, if you don't want to believe this random DM floating around claiming that Timeless is AI, and I don't blame you, to help prove the demo's legitimacy, first came this snippet of French-American model Lucas Sabat playing an early version of the demo, without any ad-libs 2 weeks before it released. I'm not gonna play you guys the snippet for copyright reasons, but that wasn't all. Shortly after, Playboi Carti's producer, Filthy, then also played the clearly AI snippet of the song during one of his DJ sets, basically confirming that the demo we had heard was legit. So, with the theory running that Playboi Carti simply thought Lawson's AI-filtered voice sounded good enough to officially release, despite the AI evidence stacked up high against him, again, Timeless peaked all the way at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. And after witnessing the major success of this single, at least according to Kirko, Playboi Carti's AI usage was just getting started. When Carti's third album Music finally released in March, all fans wanted to hear was him rapping. A pretty reasonable request for a rap album, right? Turns out some fans were let down. As one of the instant standouts and still the most popular song from the project, Carti's track 8, Rather Lie featuring The Weeknd, is now his latest release to be called out for AI.
This is crazy. I'd rather lie.
If Rather Lie is AI, which it 99% is, I let Lawson win this time, reads this Reddit post with over 500 upvotes. As of this video, the full official production credits for Music have not been released. So while there's no way for us to know exactly how much Lawson was truly involved, but considering what we just learned and Playboi Carti's alleged past use of AI with The Weeknd on Timeless, and considering that Rather Lie here's some of the best singing vocals we'd heard from Carti in years, many fans believe this is another Lawson-filtered track. But in an effort to then add more realism, as Twin told me from his own experience, after plugging Lawson's vocals through the AI filter, Carti likely then goes back and adds real ad-libs himself to polish off the track.
AI is really hard to do ad libs because especially with him, he's like yelling and like he's just like kind of screaming, so it'd mess up. I wouldn't doubt he does the ad libs for real.
Whether the ad-libs are real or not is still up in the air, but the rumors don't stop there, as the very next song on the album is also said to be AI. Titled Fine Shit, besides fans noting the very similar voice being used as in the other previous tracks, it's believed that only certain parts of Fine Shit are AI though, and not the entire song.
It's so weird. It switches halfway through.
Bro, this gives me AI vibes. Crazy comment, but like, this gives me AI vibes. This sounds like an AI song out here on TikTok.
Fine Shit and Rather Lie are the only 2 songs off Music rumored to be AI assisted. However, again, Carti and his team continue to argue the opposite. Bro, I watched that man record his verse, typed back Michi, one of the 2 members who make up the opium duo Homicide Gang, in response to a fan claiming that, sadly, Rather Lie was AI. In an attempt to also debunk the AI claims, you'll often see fans point to this tweet right here by the legendary Mike Dean, stating that he doesn't do AI music when asked about Kanye and Carti possibly using it. As the frequent engineer of both, and actually the one who mixed Timeless. But, although it says right here, mixed by Mike Dean, if you scroll a little bit lower though, Playboi Carti's vocals mixed by Marcus Fritz, aka Fritz Owens. So, is it possible then that Mike Dean just got sent the already finished and mixed Carti AI vocals, and had no idea that they weren't real?
I think that they're taking advantage of his age a little bit and just telling him that it's real. He's just gonna believe it, fight for his life.
Auto-tune, you feel like is AI as well.
Exactly. It's in the same family. Now the vocals that people like stay away from AI. It's a more negative reaction than auto-tune.
Possibly drawing inspiration from his former close friend, Kanye West, who I already dove into his love for AI in a previous video. But unlike Kanye, Carti is yet to officially confirm his use of artificial intelligence, leaving the final verdict up to us. With one of the most unique vocal deliveries in all of hip-hop, this only adds to the difficulty in determining the truth. Thus, as of this video, only Playboi Carti and his team know the 100% facts. However, after reviewing all of the evidence we did, there is no denying one thing. AI is just getting started in hip-hop.
Oh yeah, people are gonna start, like, I think this is gonna cause like an entire like flood of it, if anything. And it might be good, it might be bad, I don't know, but I know it's gonna put a lot of people out of their jobs.
I'm could have been till I die.
So as many of you guys do know, the Ye x Carti relationship has been pretty weird, I'd say, within 2025, right? We go back a couple years, it seemed like since Whole Lotta Red and on, they've been like super close. That was Carti's big bro. Ye took him under his wing. If there was a Ye project, Carti was gonna be on it. If Carti was working on a new album, it seemed like Ye was involved heavy. It seemed like Carti and Ye were inseparable, right? But obviously, fast forward a couple years, here being in 2025, it has been rocky to say the least, right? We go from Ye saying Carti's his favorite rapper to Carti previewing some songs prod via Ye. We thought, okay, leading up to iMusic, it's looking good. Ye x Carti, they seem to be like this, right? And then obviously all that Ye type stuff has gone down within 2025. The album drops, music drops, and I feel like that was like the breaking point where everything just completely collapsed in terms of the Ye x Carti relationship. And then we seen a clip yesterday via Digital Nas' stream where he basically kind of just crashed out on Carti. He spoke on iMusic. He gave his thoughts on the project as a whole alongside another piece of information. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to get into is Ye's kind of like reaction and overall opinion on Carti's project, right? NFR podcast said it right here. Ye calls Playboi Carti's music album trash and calls out Travis Scott. Crush is like two dudes thinking that Ye, talking about what would Ye do without calling Ye, alongside saying Carti stole Ye's prods. This is what he said right here. And this was all on Digital Nas' stream yesterday, which didn't really last anything long because I believe Ye was on stream for like 7 minutes and he got completely just cooked, banned, out of here. So I don't think we'll see any more of that.
Is like the Benjamins.
So he's speaking on Evil Jordan.
Songs ever. That's inside of him.
So Ye really likes Evil Jordan, said that's one of the illest songs Carti's ever made. And then now he starts to speak on Crush.
It's like two niggas thinking they Ye in the studio talk about what would Ye do without calling Ye. Call Ye, nigga. Try Carti, call me, nigga.
I feel Ye though, because we all know that does seem like a Ye inspired song, right? When you hear Crush for the first time, when we heard the snippet, we're like, did Ye produce this? Did Travis produce this? It had that Ye type of swag to it. We knew Ye was sprinkled all over that. And obviously due to Ye's reaction, he was not involved nowhere near the process of making that song, right? But I do kind of feel Ye in regards to that because Ye kind of like almost birthed these two artists, right? These two are at the biggest like point in their careers, pretty much a top 5, top 3 biggest in the game as of right now, right? So Ye had a huge involvement with that, right? He took both of them under his wing, and in 2025 things got a little shaky. Obviously they kind of hit the dash, dipped on Ye. But then again, I completely understand why Travis and Carti did that, right? 2025 has been an interesting year to say the least. Being a Ye fan and just seeing everything that's gone down as of what we know, looking from like the internet perspective from Ye, it's been pretty interesting, right? Obviously, we know what he's doing, the type of stuff he's promoting, XYZ, right? So if I'm Carti and I'm gonna put out the biggest album of my life, projected to sell 300,000, I got the world waiting on my project. And then we got Ye over here doing all these things left field, XYZ. I am not putting him nowhere near my album whatsoever. And then there's two sides to that, right? Because there's the producer Ye and the rapper Ye, right? I still to this day believe, I don't think Ye has ever lost his touch in terms of like producing and making beats. I still think he's like S tier in regards to like production. I don't think he's ever lost that, right? But obviously rapping, laying down verses. We just reacted to Cousins, World War III. we cool. AI, we cool off that. We do not need a Ye verse in the Big 25. So I completely understand why Carti left Ye off his project, but then again, I do kind of feel Ye in regards to why he's like kind of a little hurt about it. And then he said, what else he said?
Stole my producers, bro.
He stole his Pride's, OG Volta.
Yeah, nigga stole
I believe that was it, right? So yeah, that was kind of like Ye's crash out in regards to music, right? We didn't really know how Ye felt in regards to this album. Obviously, like a couple of days after music release, when Ye found out like he wasn't on the project and everything went down kind of like behind his back, he kind of gave his like slight thoughts in regards to the album, but he never really spoke into deep regarding music, right? So that's how Ye feels about Carti's latest album, specifically about Crush and Evil Jordan, right? And then he also spoke on how Carti upped the burner on, bro. This is what he said.
Another thing that Carti said to me on the phone, nigga. This nigga told me he was at the chateau with a gun, nigga.
Yeah, he speaks with so much passion, bro.
Oh, I gotta tell you another thing that Carti said to me on the phone, nigga. This nigga told me he was at the chateau with a gun, nigga. What that mean, nigga? And then nigga say he don't be on the internet.
What that mean?
If you don't be on the internet, what are we talking about then? I ain't say nothing then.
So it seems like Playboi Carti pulled up on Ye at Chateau in LA with a burner on him, right? Was he gonna do anything? I highly doubt it, right? And honestly, I feel like this always happens with Ye, right? He either crashes out, he burns a bridge with somebody, boom, 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 XYZ, this, everything happens. And then when Ye's in like production mode or album mode, and he wants to have a certain verse or person within his album, they obviously always show up no matter what Ye has said or been through within the past couple of months, right? But maybe this could potentially be like the nail in the coffin, because Ye has said some crazy stuff before and Carti's always stuck by him. Same thing with Travis, right? They'll always be like, Travis kind of cut off Ye, Travis don't rock with Ye, he unfollowed him, XYZ. And then you see him in the club together, you see them in the studio, XYZ, right? I feel like that relationship will never truly be burnt. Feel like it's almost the same thing with Carti, but if Carti pulled up on him with a stick, who really knows, right? But that's kind of like everything in regards to this video. And then everybody was bringing up this video right here. What you reaching for?
You reaching?
Have a pistol, what your hands like?
Now you wanna talk, nigga? Nigga, what you mean, nigga?
This was surfaced like a couple of days after a Whole Lot of Red as well, if y'all don't remember. It's your brother. Then he pistol whipped him and bro started running. With your hands like?